So this is part 2 of my story of my grandmother, Bella Rose McGlade. If you're looking for the first part, well, just go to my profile. Go across there. Go check it out. Give us a like while you're doing it because, it all helps. So where I left you last, Bella had just gotten pregnant with my father and was promptly sent back to the No Anger Up mission because, a scandal. Now, a lot of aunts and uncles actually knew that my father existed, especially on the English side. They knew that there was this illegitimate love child bopping around out there, but they never told, well, my father for one, but they also never told his brother, the half-brother, and the sort of, child of North Garnet, that he did in fact have a half-brother. However, my grandmother went back to the mission, and within 3 weeks of giving birth, somehow, while in the mission, she neglected her child, and he was taken from her. Now, for anybody that does know, neglect on a document like that is code for stolen generation. My father was extremely angry when he first saw his documentation because he thought he had been neglected and unloved by his mother. In fact, it was the absolute opposite. She tried for so long to get him back. She tried to fight it. She tried to get her child back. And there are so many stories like this. The Western Australian Museum actually has a display that features some of the letters written by these mothers trying to get their children back. Now, because she was unsuccessful getting him back, Bella decided that she was done. She wasn't ever going to have this happen again, and she actually absconded from the mission. And what she actually ended up doing was traveling as far as possible, as far as she could get from that location, and went all the way from Albany, Noangarup area, all the way up to Port Hedland and Karratha. She ran as far as she could, just so that this never happened to her again. Now, she completely reinvented herself. At this point, she was considering herself Maori, and she would not absolutely consider anything that was considered Indigenous. She hid it completely. She suppressed all of what she was so that she could not have another child taken. And it worked. She had another 3 children. She eventually ended up with Mr. Stocker, and she had 3 children with him. They were extremely poor, and a lot of the time she actually fed her family purely by fishing, so much so that her children ends up hating fish, but that was the length that she went to make sure that her children survived. Like I said, she was an incredibly special woman. So her children survived. Now, one of the things that she did do is, if you've all seen the movie Red Dog, my Nana Bella was actually one of the people that used to feed Red Dog regularly and called him a randy little bugger. She used to work at a hotel up there, and she actually used to give Red Dog scraps out the back of the kitchen because she worked in the kitchen. And so this cheeky little larrikin dog that even got its own movie made about it, again, another movie that kind of proximally involves my Nana, happened that way. She also, somewhere around this time, my Auntie Faye told me about the fact that she also punched a police officer, which is ironic for the daughter of a police officer. What actually had happened is that she was sleeping out on her porch one day, and he kind of snuck up on her. He kind of went to say hi, go talk to her about something completely innocuous, but because she got surprised in her sleep, she punched him. Like I said, she was a whole lot of lady. So she raised her other kids and did well for her life. She never could really read. She was never really given an education in that sort of way. And that's why I do openly say a lot of times that my grandmother was an illiterate slave, because that's what she was, especially in a time where we have politicians saying that there was never a slavery in Australia. Well, I'm sorry, but my grandmother was a slave, so I like to be open about these things. So, come up to 1992 when the Freedom of Information Act went through. My father decides that he's going to find his family, but while being pushed by my sister, actually. She actually really contributed to that happening. And he found her. He found Bella McGlade. He got his paperwork sorted out, and he gave her a phone call. And she burst into tears. She was extremely emotional. And we actually all then flew up to Karratha to go meet her for the first time in our lives. And somehow this, I think she was in her 60s by that point, managed to talk herself out onto the tarmac of the airport there. she was not waiting in the sort of arrivals area. She was waiting on the tarmac for her child that she hadn't seen for 50 years. So after discovering his family and getting all this paperwork released and all of that, it actually turned out my father only had about 12 years with her, but they made the most of it. They really did reconnect. We recorded as much of her history as we could, and other pieces were pieced together with her kids and things like that. Unfortunately, 2 of her children have passed away now. I'm pretty sure that there is another 2 that are still alive, and I think that my father's half brother on the Garnett side is also still alive. But it's just to show how fleeting that these things can be. So that's the story of Bella McGlade. I'm missing a whole bunch. I have a lot more details than that, but I just really wanted to share it with you all in the interest of yarning and being open about these things. So celebrate her.